Hey guys, my name's Tyla Rodrigues. I'm from Brisbane, Australia, and you are listening to Hank Jr. from Hank's Corner.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of Hank's Corner. I am Hank Jr. As you know, I'm part of Hank Jr. Productions, where I'm documenting life's moments through photography, videography, and now podcasting. And you know that I like to go overseas and sometimes down under to find my guests. And that's what I did this time. Please welcome Tyla Rodrigues. Tyla, how you doing?
Good, thank you. How are you?
All right. And so I know that you're in Australia, but tell everybody, what part of Australia are you calling in from?
Brisbane, Queensland.
Okay. And for those that don't know, give us a little description of where the country is and a little bit about it.
It is the sunny state. It is a beautiful state. I actually used to live in Melbourne, which is sort of down the bottom of Australia, but made the move back in 2019 to Brisbane, and it is a whole lot warmer here. So it's a beautiful, beautiful state with great beaches and really nice place to live.
Okay, so you say warmer, so you're going through your, well, I guess it's kind of you're ending your summer right about now. As we're getting ready to go into our summer here in Florida in the United States. I mean, it's pretty much always warm. We did have a little bit of cool this winter, but sunny Florida is probably the same of what you're describing over there.
Yeah, it's we are coming towards the end of our summer at the moment, but it does usually stay fairly warm in Brisbane, always sort of about the 20 degree mark, which is a nice temperature here. So, and very humid. That's what we're suffering with at the moment.
Okay. And actually, I've never asked this on the podcast and all the, people that I've interviewed from Australia, but tell me, we're so used to here in the United States and when we celebrate Christmas, you always see the things about the snow and all that. How is it that you guys celebrate down there? And what are some of the like different traditions and decorations that you guys do down there?
Well, for Christmas and things like that, obviously, I guess one of the main differences between you and us is that we don't have to rug up for the winter time or anything like that. So oftentimes Christmas is spent, under sprinklers or on the beach or, under some shade because it is, the hottest part of the year for us. So, yeah, a lot of our Christmases are spent outdoors and in the sun and in the pool or in the beach. So yeah.
And do you have different types of songs or maybe movies that reflect that?
Well, I mean, Australia often have a crack at making their own like Christmas movies and things like that. But I think Australians always resort to watching, anything that comes out of the USA anyway. So we all, I guess, kind of fantasize about having a white Christmas anyway.
Well, and it's funny because I used to live up in the northern part of the United States for many years, had a lot of snow, never had a white Christmas. I moved back to where I'm originally from, a very far part of South Texas, and that was the first time I ever had a white Christmas. Was completely as far in the United States South as you can get. So go figure how that works. But since Christmas time, I know you've been out there, out on the move, already hitting it pretty hard. You were just at a particular festival. Tell us a little bit about that.
I was. So actually Australia has the Tamworth Country Music Festival, which is it's the biggest country music festival in Australia. It's so renowned for, some of the biggest Australian country music artists have come out of Keith Urban. Those were his stomping grounds when he was young. He actually grew up right here in Queensland. And so the Tamworth Country Music Festival is a 12-day festival in this little town. And it is the most incredible thing you'll ever witness. The streets are filled with buskers. Like every 2 meters, you'll have a different busker on the street, just singing their songs that they've written, covers of other people's music. It is the Festival of Opportunity. They call the main street, which is Peel Street, the Boulevard of Dreams, because it's kind of just, it's where people can get heard, and there's thousands and thousands of people. So I just spent 12 days there. It was boiling hot, but it's all the fun of it. And it was incredible because we haven't had the festival for the past couple of years because of COVID and all that good stuff. So they had a sort of half festival last year in
Hmm.
2022. And that was only for 6 days. So they halved the festival completely, because it was just, we were all sort of coming out of things COVID wise. So I think they were a little bit worried about numbers and the things they were going to get. But being the first year back, it is, people come from all over Australia to this festival. And it was well and truly back in action this year, which was so great to see.
Yeah, and how was it to be able to play there? I mean, it's got to be something that, as a kid that you've seen and, you kind of think about, hey, maybe I'll be up on stage, but to actually be up on one of the stages, how was that?
It was so incredible. So actually, last year, that little half festival was my first time going to the festival ever. So, I experienced that and went in there busking and, just doing different walk up opportunities, where, different artists would host like an open mic situation. And so I attended a lot of them in the first year. And it was, you know, for a festival that is so huge and just brings so much opportunity for artists. I went there last year, sort of just saying, one day I would hope to be in a venue, or, even better, getting, paid for these gigs. Like, it's a very, um, it's kind of the next level, the next step, you know what I mean? And this year I was privileged enough to do that. I had, 4 headlining shows of my own, and it was just incredible to see a venue packed from wall to wall. I, have never seen anything like it on a Friday night, to just have a room full of people like sardines, all just there because they love country music and they want to have a good time. So it was amazing.
Yeah, that's great. And congratulations to you to be able to play on such a platform like that. And if I'm not mistaken, did I see Brianna Dinsdale out there as well?
Yes, Brianna Dinsdale was there. She's a very close friend of mine, and that's what that festival is all about. There's people that live 20 minutes down the road, but then there's also people that live 6 hours away or 7 hours away, and it's just a place where we all come together and we get to have a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I bring that up because Brianna has been on the podcast before, but I think I'm not sure because sometimes I forget, but I think it's through her and through social media is how I came across you. So we owe Brianna a little bit of thanks that way, so I was able to find you.
Yeah, yeah, and that, it's a crazy world. I think we all learned a lot through COVID about how we can really connect, and there's a lot of people that I met for the first time at this festival that had just passed, but it feels like I know them because I've been following their lives on social media.
Yeah, it's definitely a unique phenomena that I didn't have growing up. I mean, we were lucky to see things once a week on, like maybe Entertainment Tonight or something about the people that we admired and followed. But it's a whole different world now. But speaking about a different world, you're doing really well. You got a new single out called "Way Out West." Tell us a little bit about that one.
Thank you, thank you. I do. This song wrote. I wrote it about the idea of running away from somebody's memory, I guess you could say. It is all about, when you break up with someone, or it doesn't have to be breaking up, but like a relationship of some sort with somebody's ended. And it's kind of like, in the place you're living or wherever you are, you've got constant reminders of them everywhere. Things that you did together, places you went together, just little things and all those constant reminders. And this song is all about the idea of trying to get away from that and running as far out west as you can go, away from the memory of that person and everything that you did together. And yeah, I am just so excited to have this song out because it is something that I feel like a lot of people can relate to. I know that I have been through that firsthand with many people, and it's kind of just, you wish you could just stay so far away from everything that you remember of them. And so yeah, that's what this song's all about.
Well, it's definitely a great song, and I'm going to go ahead and play it here on Hank's Corner.
Way out west, I wonder why you left. I should have seen it coming, I guess. It ain't no surprise. Leaving is just what you do best. How long can I take this heartbreak? Well, how long's a piece of string? You've done a whole lot of running out on me. I guess it's my turn to do the same. 'Cause I ain't never been there, no. Maybe north is where I'll stay. The south, well, that seems sweet, but just reminds me of the days. Maybe this will help forget the lies that you made, or at least bring me far enough away from way out west where your memory remains. I got a friend down into nowhere town. She's somewhere in Texas bound. She says she's got a room if I ever need. So nowhere's where I'm gonna be as long as you ain't next to me. I'll be as happy as can be. 'Cause I ain't never been there, no. Maybe north is where I'll stay. The south, well, that seems sweet, but will remind me of those days. Maybe this will forget the lies that you made, or at least bring me far enough away from way out west where your memory remains. I'm gonna run and run till I can't no more. Far from the place you left me stranded. I'm gonna run and run till I can't no more. You ain't never been there, no. Maybe north is where I'll stay. The south, well, that was sweet, but took me back to our best days. Maybe this would help forget those times you said you'd stay, or at least bring me far enough away from way out west where your memory remains. From way out west where you hold my heartbreak.
Welcome back to Hank's Corner. I'm Hank Jr. here with my special guest from Down Under, Tyla Rodrigues, and you just heard her most recent song, Way Out West. Now, you talked about it as being something that I guess kind of you experience. Is that how you write your songs, based on your experiences, or do you kind of pull just from somebody else's experiences?
You know what? It's a little bit of everything. I think whenever I just get any type of inspiration. Like sometimes it's been like I'll read a poem and that'll really resonate with me, or I really like the idea behind the poem or the feelings behind that poem, and I'll run with either something out of that poem or the feelings behind it. Or I have spoken to some people, like Way Out West was actually inspired by a conversation that I had with a friend, and she was talking about, whether she really still liked this boy or whether she just liked all the ideas of the things that they had done or the things that they had experienced together. And that's where the idea of that song came from. So oftentimes it's just, something that I feel resonates with me, or something that I feel like, I really connect with. And then that's how it's created from there.
So do you need that connection to a song to go ahead and put it out, or can it be something like, hey, well, this is, a great melody. It's got a great chorus to it. I'll sing that. Or like I said, does it have to be something that you're truly connected to?
That's a good question. When I first started songwriting, I made a vow to myself that I would never release anything that I didn't believe in, that I didn't, have that connection to. But I think over time, I've realized that connection comes in different forms. There's songs that I write where personally, like my debut single, for example, that song I released for me, and I released because I had a really, really deep connection to it. It's all about my story. It's all about, how I've gotten where I am today. So that's one connection. And then, another song that I've written, maybe, the lyrics in it just really, it's a story that I want to tell and that I want to share with somebody else. And so that's my connection there. But then I've also written a whole bunch of songs that, there's maybe things in there that I haven't necessarily experienced for myself, but it's a fun song. And I really, there's words in there that I've taken from somewhere else or that I've heard. I'm like, that'll fit, and it's fun, and I connect to it in that matter. So I think either way, I always do connect to the song that I'm singing, but it might just be on different levels.
Well, that's interesting to hear that, because I get different perspectives from different artists. And, when you're out there actually listening to the radio, or in the case now we stream music, but when you listen to that, you hear some things that are just kind of fun out there. But, some of the best songs are the ones that are, come from the artist's heart and their soul, and they put it out there. And those are the ones that you're like, man, that is such a great song. And, there's, nothing wrong with having entertainment. But to me, I really love those songs. And I can think of, a long list of songs, since, the country music started, that, kind of just eat at the soul, and in a nice little tearjerker, and, gotta love that. But you mentioned, your debut single, All She Is. And, I want to know, what makes up all that you are. Tell me about when you were younger and when you decided that, hey, this is, something I want to pursue.
So I have been surrounded by music my entire life. My dad is a musician. He is a drummer, a singer. So I grew up around it. His side of the family in particular always had me involved with music somehow. We, did Christmas carols every year for a big portion of my life. Me and all my cousins would get together, and my uncles would, we'd all practice songs, and then we'd go to all of our relatives' houses and sing these Christmas carols to them. So from a very young age, I was surrounded by music, and it had always just been something that I loved. Like, I would not stop singing ever. And I feel like it's a story a lot of musicians can tell, but I did not shut up ever. And so, but it was really not too long ago that I never sat there and, I'm sure when I was younger, I said, oh, I want to be a singer when I'm older, but it was never actually something I expected to pursue, or, I was so content and happy to just do it because I loved it. But then the opportunity arose when I was in my last couple of years of high school. I was in year 11, and actually, funny story, my mum put a video of me singing forward for this radio competition, and she had forgotten about it. And I rocked up to school one day, and everyone was like, oh, I think I heard you on the radio this morning. I was like, oh, I'm not sure about that. Probably nothing, like I haven't done anything to get on the radio. And everyone's telling me and like swearing black and blue that they think that they heard me on the radio. I'm like, okay. And so then I go back through on the website and I go to the podcast, and sure enough, it was me. And I was like, this is insane. I called my mum and I was like, Mum, this happened? She goes, oh, yeah, I put you in for that ages ago and I forgot. So after that, that was a really fun competition. They were trying to put a band together of kids and, teenagers all over the state to put a band together. And it was good fun. And then after that, all these opportunities started arising of venues asking me to do gigs and, booking agents coming to me and saying, let's book you for venues and things like that. And so then it started, and I did my first gig ever, my first ever paid gig on New Year's Eve of 2021 to 2022. So a year ago, just over a year ago. And actually, I stood on the stage and I absolutely freaked out. And I stood up there and I was like, there is no way that there's people paying to listen to me sing right now. It's insane. But now we're 12 months on and I gig pretty much every single weekend and I absolutely love it. So it's been a crazy, weird journey, something that I never actually expected, but I wouldn't have it any other way now.
Yeah, here you are. Let's go ahead and play All She Is here on Hank's Corner.
She's a laugh till her cheeks hurt. We try not to cry, and she'll pat every dog she walks by. She tries to stay in touch with her old friends. It's easier said than done, she says. I guess she won't admit she can't deal with the distance. She's a lot of things, but she ain't astray. The road's been rough, but there ain't no way she'd give up. She won't give up. She's hurt, she's lost, and she's learned, and she's loved. She's let it run under that bridge. Like water it flows, but it's all made of grow now. Look at her where she is. So in case you wanna know, everything on that road has made her all she is. Ooh, now family she don't miss, but lots of people she'd forgive if they pick up the phone and say hello. And there's people that she's loved the most that she don't get to hold, but nothing comes without reason if she's come to know. She's a lot of things, but she ain't astray. The road's been rough, but there ain't no way she'd give up. She won't give up. And she's hurt, and she's lost, and she's learned, and she's loved. She's let it run under that bridge. Like water it flows, but it's all made of grow now. Look at where she is. Ooh, so in case you wanna know, everything no matter all has made her all she is.
And that's All She Is, Tyla Rodrigues here on Hank's Corner. I'm Hank Jr. And so this part, I always like to know a little bit more about the fun side. Not to say that the music's not the fun side, but a little bit more about, I guess, the personal side is where I usually go. But tell me, obviously you're on my playlist now. Everybody that comes on my show gets to be on, the Hank Corner playlist. But who is currently on your playlist right now?
Who is currently on my playlist? You know what? Recently I've actually been listening to a lot of, um, I guess I don't want to call them smaller songwriters, but you know what? I have found a lot of artists through TikTok. It
Hmm.
sounds insane, but there are so many incredible songwriters and artists that are coming up through TikTok, and people like Carter Faith. She's very much in my playlist at the moment. Lots of small artists that are coming up, and I'm just really appreciating songwriting. Someone that is always in my playlist though is Cody Johnson and Luke Combs.
Hmm.
They're coming on tour to Australia
Oh,
finally. I'm
wow.
very,
Now,
very
are,
excited.
are you going to get tickets to that?
I Yes. Yes, yes, I am. I think this is a huge year for Australia, actually. And artists coming. Morgan Wallen's coming.
Wow.
Um, like I said, Luke Combs, Cody Johnson are all coming. So it's very exciting. But so those three are in my playlist. I have a lot of Vince Gill in my playlist. I really,
Mm.
really love Vince Gill and Randy Travis, the Dixie Chicks. Lots, very heavy country influence. I love my country music. Absolutely love it.
Yeah, and I heard something. I don't know if it's true because I haven't been able to verify it yet, but I heard that Vince Gill is actually playing guitar for the Eagles. I don't know if you're familiar with the band the Eagles, but they're I guess they're out touring again, and somebody told me that he is, filling in and touring with them. So I need to look that up. Don't quote me, viewers, until I verify that, but I do need to check that out. And I thought that was kind of unique because I never put together Vince Gill and the Eagles, but apparently he's a good fit.
Yeah, well, I feel like there's always the Eagles. I guess have always been on that line between like rock and country. So I'm not too sure, but you know what? That is a combination that I would love to see live, nonetheless.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead and verify that at some point.
That
But
would be great.
as far as traveling, so I don't know how much you've traveled. Where are some of the places that you've been that you've really enjoyed? And given the opportunity to travel anywhere, whether it's just to visit or to play on stage, where would you like to go?
I've done a whole lot of travel actually. I'm pretty lucky. My family had the travel bug. I spent a lot of time in Asian countries. I actually went and lived in China for a little while doing an exchange program. I have done some travel to the US. We went to Vegas and LA. Um, so I've done a lot of travel in my lifetime. If I could travel anywhere, it would. I'd love to go to Nashville, Tennessee. I guess it's very stereotypical, but I'd love to go and have the opportunity to perform there. Um, I'm hopefully, fingers crossed. I've got a lot of big things going on this year, but I hope one of them will be to get over to Canada mid-year.
Hmm.
That's the plan, to get over there to see the Calgary Stampede. Um, yeah, so I would love to do a lot of traveling around the US, especially.
Yeah, well, that's great to hear that you're traveling like that because you're still very young, and for you to be already going to a lot of those places, I think that's pretty cool. Because I did a little bit of traveling when I was younger, not too much, and then of course you end up growing up, you have a family, and then you have to wait till the kids kind of grow up before you can really travel a lot more. And so we're really starting to do that a little bit more. But good for you that you're already getting out there and doing it. And if you ever do come back to the states, and especially Nashville, I'm definitely going to try to find a way to get there while you're there, and we'll make those happen. So just reach out to me online. We'll see if we can get you gigging over here.
Well, that sounds great. I will definitely be in touch because I plan to be over there, if not this year, very, very soon.
Oh, good luck with that. We hope that happens. And one of the things I always love to talk about on my podcast is food. I can't go through a podcast without talking about food. And I especially am always curious about the Australian food. So tell me some of the things that, that you like to eat that's Australian based, and maybe some of the things that when you're traveling that you like to eat.
Well, Australia, what do we have? I think it sounds funny me saying it because it's such a stereotype thing, but I guess Australia is known for things like their meat pies and the Vegemite and things like that, which is obviously something that we love, and we do very much. The shrimp on the Barbie thing, I'm not too sure. That's not something I've ever really done, but
Yeah, Ella Powell, who's also from Australia. I talked with her, and she said the same thing. That I don't know where you guys get the shrimp on the Barbie. I know it's a commercial over here in the United States, but it doesn't really happen.
yeah, no, I mean personally, I've never really. Maybe I'm not Aussie enough, but those are, I guess, the main sort of things. And I've seen a lot of videos of international artists, especially from the US, coming over, and Australia, like trying to shove Vegemite on bread to them and try that. It's a very acquired taste, Vegemite, but
That's what I heard. You either really like it or you hate it. There's no in between.
no, absolutely no in between. Although I have seen, sometimes there is in fact an art to it. Like, it may seem like it's just a spread, but it's a lethal spread. So it's really a little bit goes a long way, and then that's the secret there. When I travel, I'm not too picky with my food. I'm often happy to give anything a try. Like I said, I spent a period of my life over in China, so there was a lot of exotic foods over there. One thing that I cannot really get past is like bugs. Like eating anything like bugs that I can see that is a bug. It's kind of a mental thing that I can't really get past.
I can't do it either, so
Yeah,
I don't blame you.
yeah. So I will give most things a try. The food in the USA, wasn't really too different. We have a lot of fried food in Australia as well. There is a lot of fried food in the US though. So, but the USA is something that's, the food is, like I said, pretty similar to Australia. So it's somewhere where I feel like I can go and be fine to eat anything.
Yeah, that's great. And one of the things, I talked to Paul Costa, who's also down there, and he mentioned steak is a big thing. And of course, throughout the United States, but growing up in Texas, steak is a huge thing. So I think I could do the same thing going back and forth if I ever do make it to Australia. I think I would be okay eating the food down there.
Yeah, definitely. Well, if you ever come down to Australia, let me know. And all of us that have had the opportunity to talk to you will make some Vegemite toast. Maybe not shrimp on the Barbie, but.
All right. And then maybe you guys can put it on TikTok, because I'm not on TikTok yet. Maybe that could be the first video that ever goes on. But, speaking about, what goes on when you're not doing music and that sort of thing. I mean, because music, I know it takes up a musicians most of the day, because they're either practicing, they're writing. There's always something related to music. But when you're not doing that, what are some of the things you're doing for fun?
You know what? I'm going to be completely honest. It's usually going to watch more live music. Usually that's what it is. Especially since, I'm really sinking my teeth into the industry. I've had the opportunity to meet so many really great people in the industry of my age, or, and that are just so passionate and love music. And so for the times that I'm not gigging for myself, or working or writing or playing music for myself, it's, I want to get out and about and watch another friend of mine playing somewhere at a venue, or, going to support another band, or watching another band that I'd love to see. So it sounds a little bit boring, but my life is really consumed by music, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
Well, and I won't say that's boring, because that'll make me boring. I mean, I'll go to the the big concerts every now and then. I'm getting a little older, and I don't really like so much of the crowds that I used to like. But I am really enjoying if I go to a winery or something like that, and I love seeing live entertainment. Like you said, you describe somebody that's fairly new on their way up. You go to support them. I find myself really enjoying that too. So if you're boring, then I'm boring too. So we're going to be boring together. But speaking about live performances, and we talked a little bit about you being out there at Tamworth earlier in the podcast. Tell me, if somebody was to come to your performance, what should they expect?
Fun. I like to have a lot of fun on stage. I love to. I don't try and take it too seriously. I go to see some people, or if you can always tell when someone isn't really enjoying it anymore. And that's a vow that I made to myself very, very early on, when I first started um, doing music professionally, is that I would never do music to the point of not enjoying it anymore. Like, it's got to be something that I'm always going to enjoy. And there's always, you have some gigs where, you've had a really big week and you get there and you're just like, oh, I'm really tired right now. I could really use a nap. I really, this is the kind of, don't have the high energy that I always do to be able to do this gig right now. But, you get 3 or 4 songs in, and I always just try and go, you know, this song, I love singing this song, and just getting back to, these people have, they're here to listen to me, which is a huge, huge compliment always. So something that I try and do all the time on stage is just keep it fun. I like to talk to the people that are in the crowd and kind of get to know my audience. I like to, it's always a bonus when you can get someone on the dance floor and you watch your crowd go from, they're eating dinner at this time to, getting a little bit more amped up and wanting to have a good time. And that's, so I guess when you come to one of my shows, I hope that something you can always expect is just have a bit of fun and really see me enjoying it, because I'm a big believer that, it's contagious, that feeling.
Well, that does sound like it is fun, and I would love to come to one of your performances one of these days. And we're going to end the podcast with missed calls, but before we do, I just want to say, hey, make sure that you're checking out Tyla Rodrigues on all the social media. She's there. You can also find her at tylarodrigues.com.au. Which is her website, and it's listed down below. Go out and support her, listen to her music, and, check out her latest song, Way Out West, as well. Tyla, I appreciate you coming out here on the podcast. It was fun to talk with you. And anytime you ever want to be a guest, you can always be a guest here on Hank's Corner.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. And hopefully sometime in the near future we can meet and do this in person.